Lefties of Reddit, what product is the hardest to use? The biggest struggle for me was trying to write on a sheet of paper still clipped in my 3-ring binders during school. It just doesn't work. Not a product, but I've always hated having to figure out where to sit in a group of people eating out so as not to knock elbows the entire time. The right-handed desks. And then you sit down in a right-handed desk while you see a fricking right-hander sitting in the left-handed desk. Those fricks. Especially the college lecture hall desks, they're already tiny enough, but now I have to turn sideways in my seat to use it, making me a prime suspect during tests if I can't get a lefty desk. Any pair of scissors that gets all fancy for extra comfort. I had a pair that had some hard ridge because it was molded for a right-handed person's comfort. Pencils suck. I remember being in middle school and getting points off for a handwritten essay having pencil smudges. Being a lefty in school is hard. No lefty desks. No lefty scissors. Inky pinky on all of your notes. Spiral notebooks put a grid on your hand. No lefty equipment in gym class. That is, lefty baseball glove or street hockey stick. Spiral notebook. Fisker scissors. Circular saw. You get a face full of sawdust. And those stupid school desks with the really small writing area. The saw thing reminded me of another. If you like to shoot guns for sport, enjoy hot casings blasting you in the face. The M16. When I was in boot camp training on the rifle, I had to learn to shoot righty instead of lefty. The reason was if I shot lefty, the searing hot shell casings would eject right onto my cheek. This doesn't answer the question, but do other lefties have an easier time using a laptop tablet? It doesn't matter which hand I use for the trackpad. I can switch depending on how I'm sitting or if I'm eating or taking notes. I've impressed a few righties with this skill. That's strange, but me too. I always use my mouse right-handed. Even though I'm a lefty, it's the only thing I can do more skillfully with my right hand than my left. Does any other lefty out there remember the sheer horror of the pencil sharpener? I tried everything I could muster in my first grade mind to work that thing. I even tried my best contortionist impression. 5 minutes of being defeated by this device earned me a proper berating by my teacher. That bee has a special place in heck. Back in middle school and high school, teachers would make us get big 3-ring binders so we could put paper in there to take our own notes. And put some handouts they gave us as well. As a lefty, it was literally impossible to write in those because the rings were so big. Such a hassle. True story, but sorry it's so long. In 4th grade I had a teacher that hated me for no reason other than she had my sister in her class a couple of years before and didn't like her. So, an assignment arose where cutting was on the agenda and I was struggling so bad with the regular scissors. She started getting after me and I told her it was because she didn't provide any left-handed scissors. She proceeded to lead the whole class in laughing at me for thinking that such scissors actually existed. I was so humiliated being laughed at in front of the whole class. I may have even cried a bit, but don't recall. When I arrived at home that Friday afternoon, I asked my parents if they could take me to the Walmart to buy some scissors, but didn't tell them about the incident. I was so infuriated that I intended to solve this on my own. Monday morning came and I went into class and sat down. After everyone was seated, I got up and walked up to the teacher's desk, slammed the left-handed scissors on the table and yelled, "Here you go, MAAM. Since you don't own any left-handed scissors for your students, I thought I would buy you some." I went back to my chair and the whole class sat in silence for about 2 minutes, while I basked in my glory. I felt it was a win for lefties everywhere. At first I came here to say nothing no is difficult. Then I realized after reading these comments that I just learned to forget all the minor annoyances of being left-handed. Frick spiral notebooks. Writing in general, I love the time we live in where I can just type an essay out, but there is always that one professor who wants a 5-page essay written in pen. I have to take breaks after every paragraph from the pain in my arm since I can't rest my hand on the paper since it would make it look like a giant smudge on paper, and the back of my hand looks like I am a coal miner. Right-handed scissors. In a school class, they tend to have only 2-3 pairs of left-handed scissors. So when I just resort to using right-handed ones, all they do is crease the paper. It's so infuriating. All I ever encountered were right-handed scissors, so I learned how to cut stuff with right-handed scissors using my left hand. PC games. Many games map to WASD and use the immediate surrounding keys for extra functions. I use my mouse in my left hand, so I use the arrow keys for comfort, but then I have to find clever ways to map extra functions to the insert home and etc. keys. On a larger scale though, I have found it easier to become ambidextrous for most things, so I don't even notice things are designed for right-handed people. The only weirdness that other people notice is I use my mouse in my left hand, but I do not remap the buttons, so I hold the mouse like claw. You could just use IJKL instead of WASD, or just use your mouse in your right hand. Trying out new sports or hobbies where there is some type of left-right orientation involved. I have to figure out whether it feels better on my right or left side. Golf, guitar, snowboarding etc. With regards to snowboarding and other board sports, hand dominance has no relation to whether you are goofy or regular stance. You know when you buy bulk cereal or nuts from the bins at the grocery store? Those scoops are usually designed for right-handed people, so I'm the poor sucker spilling granola all over the floor. Thank you. I had no idea this was what was happening. I just assumed I was a horrible scooper. As a lefty, I find it nearly impossible to drive any car. I am blind. Typing is hard too. Dry erase markers. Story time. Little. 3rd grade. Zachary 12,345 goes up to the board to answer a math question on long division. I know the answer. I write the answer. Unfortunately, my hand erases the answer as I write it. I step away from my smeared mess and the class laughs. I still can't write things on dry erase boards. The right man is always trying to keep us lefties down. When I started learning guitar, I didn't know lefties play differently by reorganizing strings in different directions. It was really hard to learn play guitar in a right-handed position, especially chords in a rhythm. It's really hard to learn how to finger chords period. Plenty of left-handed people play right-handed. 3-ring binders. If you're in a quiet environment where you don't want to remove the paper to write on it, it's a pain. The extra cost of everything. Left-handed golf clubs, extra $100. For cheap ones. Left-handed guitar, extra $200. Left-handed scissors, extra $5 plus shipping, and on and on and on. For me, peelers, knives, scissors, anything with a blade on it. For safety, those products are designed to only have a sharp edge on one side. I am forced to either use my right hand or position the product at some weird and unsafe angle to be able to get the blade against the product properly. Oh, also wooden spoons. They have this angle on them which is perfect for scraping and flipping things when cooking. Or at least it would be perfect if you were using your right hand. As someone whose passion is cooking, pretty much my entire kitchen is unfriendly for me. Yup, the only time I ever legit injured myself due to being a lefty was with a potato peeler. It wasn't working with my left hand, so I switched to my right. Sliced almost my entire left middle fingernail off. Products used in school. As a left-handed person, I can sympathize, but I personally love being left-handed. Being able to use your mouse to click while simultaneously doing other stuff. Just while the lefties are here, is anyone else kind of ambidextrous? I write left-handed, but I do pretty much everything else right-handed. Footy is on my right foot, cricket and tennis too. Throwing is right-handed as well. Anyone else are like this? Mice. There are currently 2 left-handed mice on the market. There are about 30 trillion righty ones. I hate using someone's machine with a fancy righty mouse since the buttons are at my palm, so I'm constantly hitting them by mistake. Then there are public computers. The ones where people are worried that someone will steal the equipment, so they lock things into place. There is plenty of room to use the mouse if you use your right hand, but if you need to swap it to the other side, there isn't enough room to move it. I actually love that the mouse is on the right side. It means I can multitask, use the mouse with the right, or do whatever I want. I'm guessing for some people this means jerking off with the left. As a Brit, the kettle. After many years of quarrels about which way the handle should be, I have finally become ambidextrous in this one task. Nothing else, because all the other pains can be solved with a nice cup of tea. Oh my god, a sheer Brit in this statement. Power tools. Egg skill saw. Chainsaw. They are made for righties and all the guards are set up on that side. I am afraid of using them and losing a body part. Dinner tables. Every time I got to a restaurant with booths or chairs, I always have to remember to sit on the far end to not bump elbows with the right-handed mutants. I'm a lefty, sort of. I write, eat, and drink left-handed, but when I throw a ball, kick something, or use something that is designed for righties, like scissors or a can opener, I use my right hand. My grandpa was the same way. I guess it was just easier to adapt when something couldn't be used either way. A fork, pencil, or glass isn't chiral. I use a computer mouse right-handed and I work with a lefty that uses it on left side. He's older than me, so I guess I learned mouse when I was still impressionable. Sometimes I have an issue with lidded mugs that have a handle if spout is only able to go on one. Any desk in a university. For whatever reason in high school there was always a left-handed desk, but in college they give you these small desks that can't hold anything and no left-handed desks anywhere. Freaking can openers. Oh my god. Out of everything in the world designed for righties, it is can openers that are really the bane of my existence. I've adapted to cope with everything else with minimal issues. Scissors, the Silver Surfer hand, hunching over desks, and the day-to-day clumsiness that comes with being a lefty, but can openers are and forever will be the bane of my existence. I've heard chainsaws are particularly lethal for left-handed people, but I wouldn't know. I know I am one clumsy biatch. I don't fricks with things like chainsaws, or any kind of saw, or guns. For my own sake, I am technically ambidextrous, though it's something that has developed over time and teachers trying to teach and make me do things right-handed, which the exception of writing, they let me use me left hand with no issues. For some reason this kind of makes me fumble more. I have poor hand and eye coordination to begin with, but I often wonder what hand to use to throw or catch things. For instance, I have noticed my right side is stronger, but my left side is far more dexterous. I can throw further with my right arm but I can't aim for crap, and people make fun of me for it a lot. Any game with more controls than can fit on one page. Whilst most people would just start playing the game instantly, I have to spend ages, 5-10 minutes, rebinding keys, and don't even get me started on non-rebindable games. I'm looking at you, Starbound. That and those pens which are attached to the right side of a desk and expect you to write anything. Not life ruining, but measuring cups suck. I need 2 cups of milk for this stuff I'm making, but the dang measuring cup is telling me I have liters or some other balls unless I hold it with my right hand. Stupid communist measuring cup. Firearms. Mostly a problem for us military lefties, but it is seriously a huge pain in the butt. Almost every rifle, pistol, and many machine guns eject shells links to the right in some fashion. Whether it's burning the crap out of your arm with hot brass, or punching you in the lip with an ejected shell, weapons are seriously inconvenient for lefties. Add in the fact that everything on a weapon is set up for right-handed shooters, such as safeties, magazine ejects, and bolt releases, and you have the recipe for a bad day. Pens. Definitely pens. I come home looking like I had a war with an octopus, but just on the side of my hand, every day. Also, I teach kindergarten. Do you know how hard it is to teach a pencil grip to a right-handed kindergartner using my left hand? I usually just switch it and have crappy handwriting. Heck, they're 5. They don't care. I've never owned a pull cord to start lawnmower that didn't orient the cord to be used by a right-handed person. I use it with my left hand, of course, and wear out the cord quick as it rubs against the housing. An expensive repair, so I had to end up learning how to fix it myself. As an avid coffee drinker, my coffee mugs are always facing the wrong way. Only I can see the cool graphics on the side that would normally face out. It's hard to point at anything specific, but basically everything that isn't 100% symmetrical is made by righties, and for righties only. I'm a lefty but learned to use my right hand for lots of things to avoid inconvenience. However, frick tin openers. Not really hard to use, More of a pain in the ass, but bicycle kickstands are on the wrong side. Leaning over to do it looks so dumb. For sheer danger factor, table saws. You either learn to use them right-handed by practice, or you learn to use them right-handed by getting your left hand chopped off trying to use them left-handed. Most rifles, the spent casings eject out of the right side of the gun, which is fine if you're right-handed, but for a lefty means you have hot metal being shot into your face. Bow and arrow. Many of them are impossible and or very dangerous to shoot left-handed. On the other hand, I've also been told that being left-handed in fencing gives you a real advantage. I'm not a fencer, so I can't confirm. Spiral notebooks. For sure. I used to have really terrible handwriting as a kid because I hadn't learned how to write with the spiral yet. It would slowly get better as I moved across the page, though. But my mom didn't understand why I would write with my left hand. She thought I was purposefully making the task harder for myself. She tried to make me write with my right hand. It never occurred to her that I'm just left-handed. Basically, my mom thought I was stupid. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.